You're so prepared, dude.
I'm always prepared, Daniel.
Welcome back to the Life and Tribe podcast. This is episode number 120. No,
Pause.
176.
Danny, I have a thing. So when we do an intro, we technically don't need to say welcome. This is Life in Stride 175 because we just did it. Right?
Just let me finish the intro. All right.
Okay.
This is the pod. No, you're right. We have talked about this. And I even said that to you a couple episodes ago.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, on with the intro. This is the Boston how-to episode. So basically, in honor of Boston Registration Week, we are giving you all the details on registering for the Boston Marathon. And there's actually a couple of different ways that you can get into Boston that you may not know. But in my opinion, the best way is to qualify, the good old-fashioned way. So, with that said, Scotty, how excited are you for Boston? Are you going to be running next year?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. My wife just signed up. I signed up yesterday. She signed it today. I told her she missed the window to sign up for Chicago, and she's like kind of upset about it, even though childcare would have been dicey. But I told her today, I was like, if you don't sign up for Boston 2026, I will cry myself to bed at night until Boston. So
Have you
both me and
registered
my wife
yet?
are signed up. I'm stoked.
So you already registered yesterday?
Yeah, my wife and I both.
Yeah,
We're
so
good.
as we're recording, it's September 9th, 2025, and registration opened yesterday, I don't know, at 8 a.m. or something, and it closes Friday the 12th at 5 p.m. So we got to turn this podcast around so our constituents can hear it straight. So minimal editing and F-bombs for Striegel today on the pod, so he can crank it
No
out.
F-bombs. No F-bombs, Daniel.
No fun bombs. Okay. All right, let's talk about registering. So there's a few different ways to get in and actually register. There's a couple different registrations, I should say. And the first pre-registration for Boston is if you have run the marathon 10 consecutive times in a row, then you get automatic entry and you get to register early. So, for example, our coach and friend, Mike Corfage, got to pre-register for Boston. And not only is he guaranteed a spot, he is guaranteed to flex on us every single year from here on out that he has run it 10 years in a row, and it gets an automatic bid into the best marathon in the universe.
Dude, Mike Korf, shout out Mike Korf. Well deserved. Lots of legendary Boston runs out of him. Some fast ones, a lot of fun ones. Well deserved Mike Korf.
Do you all know anyone else who has like automatic entry into Boston from running it so many times?
Nobody.
I'm trying to think.
In Louisville, who is it? I mean, Scott Bearclaw is close.
Yeah, I feel like there's a few of those guys.
Andy and Abby are. Andy's close. I think he might have 10 actually. No, I think it's like his 8th or 9th or something. Shout out Andy. John Bazel's damn close, probably. I mean,
Yeah, for sure. There's a few of those legends that are close. If you actually have automatic entry into Boston, comment on this podcast because I'm curious. I want to talk to you. All right, and then normie registration. So this is kind of how average Joes like Scotty, Chris, and I get into the Boston Marathon. Basically, there is a registration window. Like we said, it opened yesterday as of recording this pod, and it ends on Friday, September 12th at 5 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to run Boston in 2026, then log on to Boston, their website, and you actually register through like a portal. It's called Athletes Village. So you have to set up an account. It has all your past Boston races on there and a little bit of helpful information. If you haven't run it before, it's not super helpful besides registering, but it's a good source of information as Boston releases announcements leading up to the race. So that's Athletes Village. More on normie registration. Basically, you apply, and in this form, they do this like auto verification thing that's never worked for me. I've only applied twice, but basically they try and verify your result, your qualifying time that allows you to get into Boston like during registration. So it has never once worked for me. I don't know like if it only works if you're if you qualified at Boston or what, but I think they could probably fix that part of the system. So it is not first come first serve for registration. We all know this. That's why it's an amazing race and super sought after. It's based on qualifying time, and so they are going to, in the coming weeks, they'll close registration on Friday, and then after that, they're going to do a big data analysis, basically on everyone who applied and their qualifying times, and they will basically take the fastest allotment of the qualifiers in their age group. Are you guys following? So the fastest people. So if I have to run a sub 255 marathon as a male under 35, and I only run 254.59, the odds are I'm probably not getting in because they have a cutoff. And Scotty's going to explain the cutoff in a little bit. So applicants will be notified of acceptance or non-acceptance once the BAA has verified all qualifying times and applications, and that will likely be in early October.
Scotty, explain the qualifying times.
Striegel, I'm going to pass it off to my assistant Striegel to explain the qualifying times because I am currently preparing a baller price breakdown as we speak. Striegel, to you with sports.
All right, let me break this down for you all. Yeah, so right now the qualifying times, I believe between ages 18 and 34, it's 2:55 now. It was 3 hours. It was a huge deal when it went down to 2:55, and it kind of just goes up per age range. So like 35 to, I believe 44 is 3 hours, etc. So it goes up 5-minute increments. But yeah, like Danny said, if you run, if you're between 18 and 34 and you're on 2:54.59, unfortunately, you're probably not going to get in. You can certainly, put your entry in, see what happens. There's been during one of the COVID years, they allowed everybody into the race that qualified, which was awesome. But that's very unlikely to happen again in the near future, unfortunately, just due to the massive increase in people that are running and race signups. I mean, 1 million people signed up for the London Marathon. So naturally, Boston's probably, again, one that a lot of people sign up for. So yeah, so they're expecting the cutoff time for, based on your age range and your cutoff. So again, we're all between that 18 and 34 range. So ours is 2:55. I would probably have to run a 2:49.30 to get in, just based on how many people are qualifying or that have qualified and are entering the race. Because again, there's a limit to how many people can run. So they have to take the fastest times. So they're estimating right now that the cutoff's going to be around 5.5 minutes. So yeah, 2:49.30 for our age group. If you're 34 to, I forget exactly, I think it's 35 to 44, you're looking at 2:59.30, and then it goes up. So you really need some cushion. If you're planning to run a BQ race, make sure you're getting at least 6 minutes under the time to be pretty confident about it. If you're anything under 5 minutes, I'd be a little nervous on race day or on sign up day. My wife ran, she's got a 4.5 minute cushion. We're pretty nervous about it. So we'll see.
Do you remember what the cutoff was last year? I feel like it wasn't 5 minutes, was it?
I think it was, let me see. I think it was around 5 minutes.
Yeah, you pull that up because I want to go over some other stuff right now. Basically 2 years ago, they dropped the standard from 3 hours flat for the age group men 18 to 34. They dropped it 5 minutes to 2:55. But even 5 more years before that, it was 3:05. So you had to run under 3:05 marathon. Basically, it's under 7-minute average to be able to run Boston in that age group. Well, it seems to be a trend. The field keeps getting faster. And I think the reason that they keep bumping the standard down 5 minutes is because people are just breaking through it. The sport is growing. We have more information about how to properly train, how to properly fuel. We have super shoes that give you a few seconds per mile on your marathon. And it's all great. Like the sport's booming as well.
Danny?
So I think as long as that trend keeps going up, you can probably, like Streak said, expect that cutoff time to keep increasing.
So it was 5 minutes and 29 seconds last year. So yeah, pretty brutal.
Wow.
And I was wrong about the age. So the first age group is the biggest one. It's 18 to 34. That's 255 now. And then it goes by 5-year increments. So like 35 to 39 is the next group, 40 to 44, et cetera. So it goes up in 5-year increments after the 18 to 34 age group.
In 5-minute increments each time. And that's for
This
men.
is also important. Your qualifying time for Boston is not when you applied. It's how old you are on the day of the race. So if you break through an age range to a slower time, basically, like into the 40 to 44, that applies to when you run the race, not when you apply.
Dude, it is like,
Great call,
it's like
Scotty.
truly crazy to run Boston for our age range is 249. Like 249, if you're a 249 marathoner, like you're like a 1%er in the marathon for sure. Like, I don't know statistically if that's right, but that's like, you were a really good marathoner if you run 249.
I think for men it's like 2 or 3%.
So
Pretty high.
a 249 marathon is like 6 minutes and 28 seconds per mile. Like that is elite.
Yeah, so truly, like, if you're lining up at the Boston Marathon, like every runner that is on that start line is like a good runner, like high level. They're training at a high level. They're like specifically training for time goals. Like, they're like all like elite level, like top 2-3% runners in their age group that have like made the race. So it is cool, like being on the start line, and just knowing like everyone here is like a very serious and like good runner. So
that is pretty cool. Yeah, so the women's standards, they also go in the same age group increments. So the women's 18 to 34 is 325 for the BQ, 35 to 39, 330, 40 to 44, 335, and so on and so forth. It actually makes looks like a 10-minute jump from 40 to 44, and then 45 to 49 starts going up by, it makes a 10-minute jump and then goes to 5 minutes each time again. So those are the qualifying times. I noticed something when reading through some of the Boston informational like announcement stuff on their website, and it's that there's no more double dip window for qualifying for Boston. So basically there used to be this golden window in like late mid-September where registration opens and the qualifying window for let's say, in this case, it would be 2026. That qualifying window is technically open until registration closes on Friday. And the qualifying window for 2027 would already be open. So basically, you could qualify for Boston 2 years in a row by winning one race at a particular time of the year. And they have now cut that out. And I think the reason is because demand's so high. Like they don't want people who are running, that 249 marathon, if they just get fat and out of shape, they can still run it in 2027. But no, now they're making you earn it, especially by having no overlap in the qualifying window.
I'm going to bounce right off that topic that you just laid down.
Bounce off it,
my head's a bouncing ball right now. So also to make it a little tougher to qualify, so not only did they take away that golden, time frame there, but you also can't do the downhill races are a little different now. So you can't go run a race with a couple thousand feet of downhill and qualify for the Boston Marathon. They're like adjusting the times based on the elevation drop, right?
1500. If it's 1501,
yeah, I have it right here in front of me. You're reading my mind, Streak. This is, ladies and gentlemen, what you would call chemistry. The boys and I, we've been doing this for almost 2 years now.
It only took 175 episodes, but I read their thoughts.
We have gelling. Chemistry, a romantic kind.
I'm also so ready for my price breakdown, and I'm interested to hear your all's critique.
Dude, I want to say too.
Okay. Scotty likes flexing, as we all know. So we're gonna definitely get the bougie side of Boston.
The downhill marathon thing. I'm so down for it. Like I do not think like someone that is like qualifying for Boston should be able to go to a race and run just like down a mountain and like get into the race versus like someone who ran the same time on like a flat course. So I'm all down for this rule. If you want to qualify on a downhill race, totally fine. But like, there's time adjustments now for that. So
you're getting indexed. They call it an index. Yeah, we're looking at you, Truett Haynes.
yeah.
All right. So starting with the registration for the 2027 Boston Marathon. So not the one that we're registering for right now. If you snuck in a downhill marathon 2:49 in our age group, then congrats. You played yourself. No, you're actually in. All right. So 2027 marathon qualifying results from any course with a net downhill of 1,500 feet, you said it, Scotty, or more will incur a time adjustment to results known as an index upon being submitted for Boston Marathon registration. All right, so here's the indexing rules. 1,500 to 2,999 feet, right? So 15 to 3,000 feet. Basically, you're going to get a 5-minute penalty on your Boston time. So now if you're running that 2:49 on a downhill mountain that's over 1,500 feet, that's going to be considered a 2:54, right? You following? So, and then between 3,000 and 6,000 feet, it's going to incur a 10-minute time adjustment. And then 6,000 feet and above will not be allowed for Boston Marathon qualifying. Because you're basically skydiving at that point. Like you might as well have a parachute on because you're free falling down to earth. Like gravity.
Dude, is there a race with that much drop?
Oh, I'm sure there's one out there. Yeah.
If you just run down a mountain, like I'm sure there's probably like a road somewhere in the US that has that possibility.
I mean, the crazy thing is I can't imagine. I mean, like I could run 250 feet downhill for a little bit, but I can't imagine what my legs would feel like after 26 miles. Like that's honestly, it's pretty impressive. I feel like the time cutoff should drop off if you can go 5,000 feet descent.
If your body can hold up like without your legs.
Like seriously, you might like actually like lacerate your quad like in half or like break your kneecap or something.
Yeah. I think like, people like their whole running career, like all they want to do is qualify for Boston. And like, again, people were willing to do the downhill races, whatever, run several marathons in a year, more than they normally would to give themselves more chances. And like, Boston is like a worthwhile race to like spend your whole running career like trying to qualify for. Like the experience is like that good at the Boston Marathon. So yeah, if anyone's listening is like, I've been trying so hard to qualify for this thing, just keep pushing. Or keep aging, make those time cutoffs a little easier.
Just stay the same and just
get older. Or if you need a coach.
Are you ready for my price breakdown for the Boston weekend? We need to continue this.
Go ahead, Scotty. I was just going to absolutely plug our coaching, but
yeah, if you need a coach and you want to qualify for the Boston Marathon, we can 100% get you there. Hit us up. Email us, otqboys@gmail.com, or visit lisrunning.com.
Yeah. There's the plug.
Scotty.
Go ahead, Scotty.
That was a paid ad. All right. Here's my humble price breakdown. So, as we do this how-to series, my pitch is that in the title, we do like how-to Boston Marathon, start to finish, like for dummies, Boston Marathon for dummies, and basically in parentheses, I wanted to say in our humble opinion, because essentially all these things will be in our opinion, right? But
actually, we've gone through straight facts.
Okay, so far. I mean, when we get into like deeper like training things and stuff. But so far, you're right. It has just been things off the internet.
Straight facts, homie.
Straight facts. So I'm basing this off a 4-night stay, and that is what I recommend. That's Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night, race night. A lot of people can do it in 3, so you can take off like maybe 25% of this. But a hotel on average, if you stay in the city, is $400 to $600 a night. You can maybe go a little cheaper if you go like further out or cheaper hotel. But I put an average of $400 So that's $1,600 for a hotel for 4 nights. Food per person per day, I put $100. And honestly, that seems generous, but a lot of these dinners will be, if you eat in the city, it's $50, maybe more with a tip.
Yeah.
If you're fun running and you get a drink, I mean, you're talking more, but $20 for dinner, $20 for lunch. That's $100 right there. Travel and flights, I did $650. That's probably on the low end, depending on where you're coming from. If you're in the Midwest, it's probably that, but also you have to account for like Uber, train pass, or vice versa, and then parking if you drive, but probably more like 800 for travel, maybe more, depends. But race entry and photos, $360. Fresh pair of super shoes is $300. Don't forget to include that because that's important. Gear and merch, depending on the type of person you are. If it's your first Boston and you like budgeting,
Get the jacket. You got to get the jacket.
I would definitely spend money on merch. It's worth it. The merch is sick. It's fun. There's pop-ups everywhere. Bandit, Tracksmith, Rabbit, all the Heartbreak Running has a pop-up, like all that kind of stuff. I said $400. That's a total of $3,700.
That's like
for the
that's
weekend.
pretty legit. Like I would.
Yeah.
That's what I spent. I spent $3,500 when I went solo.
Dude, I have a comment on that too. Like with the hotels, like trust me, if you can afford it, stay as close as you can. Like stay in the downtown area for sure, but stay as close as you can to like the Boston Common, like Boylston Street area, because it is a massive headache before and after the race if you got to walk. Because the Ubers in the morning of the race not super available. After the race, all the roads are closed. Like morning of the race and after the race, all the roads around there are closed. So like you're setting yourself up to walk as far away as your hotel is from where the buses are and the finish line. So that little extra money to stay close to all the important stuff is worth it. And take it from someone that stayed a mile away from the finish before. Miserable experience. So it's worth a little.
Dude, a mile's not even that far from the finish. I mean, Liberty is over a mile from the finish, but it's still like 0.75 from Boston Common. And I got between the walking around and walking at the start line of the Boston Marathon, I almost had 10,000 steps.
Yeah.
That's too much if you're racing, in my opinion. That's too much. So the less you can do, the better. Definitely stay close to Boston Common, and you can get a $600 hotel, get 2 queen beds, share with a buddy, or even 4 buddies, and you can bring that $2,000 to $2,500 down to $500 to $1,200. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge part of the cost. But Boston, it's an East Coast city, so it's set up for walking, right? And you can use public transportation, so the T is pretty easy to get around on the train, and it's pretty lively at different times of the day. I would say that the good thing about Boston is that you register in September and it's the following April, so you have a lot of months to start saving because it definitely puts a dent in your wallet. I would definitely say it's super worth it. My wife and I actually went to Japan earlier this year, and comparing the cost of the Japan vacation to Boston was not that different.
We went to Japan too, and it was like the same price pretty much for the 2 of us.
Yeah,
that is crazy. I will say, big pro tip. Danny asked everybody to bring a pro tip for the Boston Marathon weekend. My pro tip.
Are we there already?
Why not? Let's
Great
segue, boys.
Do it.
My biggest tip for the Boston Marathon weekend. It doesn't matter if you're racing or not racing, but especially if you're not racing, buy a weekend or a week-long T pass. It's $22. Unbelievable how legit it is, dude. And you can use Apple or Google Maps, type in your destination just on the top when it says walking, driving, or you can put train. It'll tell you exactly what stops to go, where to go in. You just scan your card. And I used it like 100 times, and I could get all the way to like the expo. Immediately, my hotel, the Liberty, had a T spot right in front of it. So I just walked out the front door, got right on the T. It was like 5 stops on the red and then a couple on the green down to Boylston. And then I'm right at the expo. Versus like the first time I did it, I walked for 45 minutes to the expo. On a weekend I was racing. destroyed my legs. I got 30,000+ steps the day before, or 2 days before, and it just doesn't set you up for success. So maybe actually more important if you're going to race to
If you have small kids and you're like a little concerned about lugging the family around Boston, just from like a logistics standpoint, I like Mike Corfedge has the tip. He has a driver that he has his phone number saved and calls him up every year, and he just drives him around. He gives him like, he probably pays him a few $100s for the weekend, but every time he needs a ride, calls that guy in advance. And
on the airport, I've been picked up by, I think his name's Charles. He gets picked up everywhere, like airport, all that.
Dude, Mike Corf steps off his private jet into Charles's Lamborghini Huracan for the whole weekend at the Boston Marathon.
Striegel, since you're talking, what's your pro tip of the Boston Marathon? I know you prepared one because you always do.
I'm not gonna lie, you stole mine. I was gonna say the T because, but I have other ones, no worries. But like the T is good because I've used Uber before and it gets super expensive, and also the traffic can like be super annoying. And like, don't use a taxi either. I've used taxis and they're like way overpriced. Like if you're going to choose between taxi and Uber in Boston, use Uber. It's cheaper because the taxis have like an upfront price and stuff. And so, yeah, use Uber if you're going to. But the T, so much cheaper. You don't have to deal with traffic. It's pretty easy to understand. And like, I don't have a lot of public transportation experience. When we went to Tokyo, it was like a nightmare dealing with that. But then we went to Boston and it was like, oh, like this is great. Like I can understand this. So yeah, Boston's is super easy. Use the T. My other hacks or tips for the race would be, this is an obvious one, but if you never run it before, I didn't know this the first time and I screwed up. Go to Goodwill and get some throwaway clothes before you, because you're going to be waiting around for a while in the athletes village before the race. And usually it's kind of a brisk morning. So make sure you got throwaway clothes, sweatpants, hoodie, gloves. And then also on that same note, there's a lot of time between getting on the bus and actually starting the race. So make 100% sure you're bringing snacks, you're getting all your fueling in before the race. Because just if you eat breakfast in your hotel, by the time you leave your hotel and the time you start the race, you're probably looking at 3 to 4 hours. So that's too big of a gap fuel-wise from the last time I ate to starting the race. So make sure you take some snacks on the bus.
Boys, hot take. Well, Striegel, like that 3 to 4 hour gap always gets me really messed up.
It's tough.
I feel like if you can, a lot of people can't because it's just scheduled, but on your Saturday long run, maybe like 3 or 4 like big heaters, I feel like it would be advantageous to like wake up at 5 and then do your long run at like 9. Like purposefully like sit around and eat. I don't know, maybe that's aggressive, but I just like practicing it.
Dude, yeah, on that too, like just preparing for the course a bit. Do some like more downhill running than you normally do. Mike Corf assigns Scotty and some of the other guys like downhill mile repeats before Boston. And like there's no race if you just run like the standard like marathons, there's no like race experience that can compare to like the pounding your quads will take on the like downhills the first half of Boston. So make sure you're training with some downhill repeats or at least like doing something to strengthen your quads in the gym, because that always gets me every year. I get hamstring and quad cramps like the last 10K once the hills are over and I'm like ready to go because like my quads and hammies weren't ready for all those downhills, bro.
Last thing, Danny, before you go and you finish us off, don't forget your hamstrings. Everybody always talks about your quads, but both times I did Boston, I had hamstring issues. Something about the down and then the up, hamstrings will blow up. And then, like I like legit, I've never had hamstring issues, but they like cramp with like 5 miles to go, and I raced it forever ago. Don't forget about it. Start training them now in the gym. Don't start training in freaking 1st of April. Train now.
Yep. 100.
All right. My Boston tip or hack would be it's all about the finish line. Go to the finish line before the race. You're going to bump into a lot of pros there. You're going to see people you know. Get the pre-race finish line picture. At the finish line, during the race, get the finish line picture And ideally the same pose as you got with the pre-race picture, so you can do a before and after for the Instagram. Scotty and I did that last year in video format. And there's a Starbucks near the finish line, so have a friend or your spouse or a parent go get you a venti chocolate chip frappuccino from Starbucks and bring it to you, meet you at Boston Commons right after the race, because my wife did that for me and it changed my entire life.
Did she really?
Yeah,
Wow.
it was the best thing. It's got the sugar, it's got the caffeine, it's got the fat, it's got ice, it's cold, it's so good. And we had a sunny day. It was warmish when we finished, so it was perfect for that. Maybe you could get like a tall hot latte on a cold day.
Hey, Danny, I got a question for
Some
you.
pumps is some good stuff. And then after the race, to finish this off, go back to the finish line. We have a group that goes to the finish line post race every night at midnight, and we go and get a group picture there. So that is the finish line hack for Boston. Scotty, what's up?
Are you going to race Boston this year?
I don't know yet. I'm thinking about it, but
What about
we'll see.
moderate?
All right. So this is a conversation. It's a debate that is held amongst all runners.
Yes.
Do you race Boston? I would say you race Boston if you want. Unless it's your first time, then it's a hard no. Don't race Boston. Have an A race in the spring, either before or after Boston, and run Boston and just soak in every part of that course, because, like Streak said, it is the celebration of running, and you're elite if you run it.
Dude, quick finish line tip too. If you don't run with your phone, it is really, really hard to find your family after the race or whoever's there watching you. So make sure you have a plan of I'm exactly meeting you here, because there's so many people. It's absolute chaos. So if you don't have your phone at the finish, make sure you got a finish line meetup plan. 100%.
Yeah, the dopest thing is before, as you're just perusing the city in Boston Common, where they pick up all the people, where the buses come in the morning. It's all open and it's all like a hangout area after the race. Be see this tree in the front left corner of Boston Common? Yeah, we're going to meet here after the race, an hour after the race. Everybody meet here.
You could just meet us there, because that's where we meet every year.
Yes, we do. On the left front corner of Boston Common by the big tree.
Yeah, it's the southwest corner, I think.
It actually might be front right, if you're looking from the finish line.
If you're coming from the finish line, yeah.
Front right.
Closest corner to the finish line. That's it. Huge tree.
You can meet us there. We'll be there. In fact, we'll announce it on this podcast.
All right, boys. I think that's the pod.
That's the pod. That's the how-to pre-Boston.
Happy Boston qualifying. Happy Boston registering.
I need to remember.
You better do it, Striegel. If you don't, I'll be really upset.
I'm doing it for sure. I'm doing it.
LAS boys have to stick together at all costs.
Always FOMO when friends go to Boston and you don't go. So
that's the pod.
Peace.